We have such a privilege today. We are here at Ed's Irish Pub. We're going to interview Orlando Zibiotti, the owner of this establishment. And we understand that Orlando is an expert in a craft that we're not really familiar with here at the show, so we're looking forward to it. But just to get started, when you opened up Ed's Irish Pub, there were not a lot of similar style pubs or bars, were there?
No, not in our area. We live in a very small community, but I wanted to bring out an influence that was near and dear to my heart.
What brought you to want to do this? You say near and dear to your heart, but where does that come from?
Well, it's an interesting question. I have a friend whose name is Ed, and hence the name Ed's Irish Pub. And when we were building this, my skill set wasn't in construction, but his was. So I wanted to name this pub after him for all the help that he gave us in building this. And as he's Irish, well, we wanted to build an Irish pub, but not just for that reason. My family has had the privilege of being to Ireland a few times, and we really fell in love with the area. So we thought, why not? Let's bring that home.
That's really nice. Does he come around very often and see the establishment? What does he think?
He loves it. He doesn't get up here that often anymore, but when he lived here, we had one or two drinks in here together. Yes.
Such a neat way to really give something to a friend, to have an establishment that really represents him and your friendship together. So that's fantastic. Now, it's been many years. Have there been a lot of changes that you've seen on the scene, maybe here or just generally?
Yeah, the bar scene's really come a long ways. As we've had some opportunity to travel to Europe, we've really been influenced by some of the flair that they use in their drinks in that area. Some of them have previously been banned in our area, but the United States is really starting to open up and have an affinity and appreciation for what's happening elsewhere in the world.
This is a real pub feel, right? Which to me is friends, it's family. Do you feel like you've had, because of this location, this environment, that you've been able to develop friendships differently than you would outside of an area like this?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the saying is that people open up to a bartender. And so as friends are here having a drink, it's very easy to hear out their life stories. And it's important to me to really get to know the friends on a close level, because how else can you help others in the world? And so as the friends open up over a nice beverage, and you get to know them, you get to love them, and you get to enjoy time together. So I really love that aspect of having this pub.
I'll tell you what, I find that sometimes the best conversations that I have with someone is over a drink. I understand, have something prepared that you wanted to show us how it's done. So why don't we go ahead and see what you have to offer, and I bet that'll help us even to draw closer.
Oh, it'll be my pleasure to do so. So as I mentioned, I really like traveling to Europe, and when we were in the Czech Republic, we had an opportunity to have an absinthe, and it's a drink that is misunderstood here in the United States. And they feel that it has a lot of hallucinogenic properties, and it does have some wormwood in it, but not enough to really bring about any type of hallucinogenic feelings in a person. But
yeah,
the drink
so
is,
in my mind,
nice.
when I think of absinthe, what comes to mind is you might as well be smoking a joint. It's just, there's
Correct,
always,
yeah.
it's the same kind of environment.
It has that mystique here in the
Yeah.
United States, and we're hoping that it calms down and people really appreciate it for what it is, just a nice, smooth, sweet drink.
Okay. How do you prepare this?
Well, we are going to prepare one for you today. So, what we will need is, of course, a classic nice absinthe. And while we were at an absinthe bar, we were able to ask them what they prefer. I mean, if you want something good, you ask the experts. And this is all they do, so they recommended to me Beetle. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, there is a really large beetle in here, and I thought it was probably a little more for posterity or for a gimmick, but the locals really love it, and it's produced there, so I figured it must be good, and they recommended it, and so we bought it.
Yeah, so I would think that this is a lot like the tequila that you see with the animals inside and things, but this is actually something the locals would be drinking in Europe.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want to drink what they drink. Also, what's important is having a absinthe spoon. We drop some sugar on here. This has some holes in it, and so as we pour the drink over the sugar cube, it is absorbed by the sugar, and we will be able to do a nice little technique on it. It's heating it so that the sugars form a nice caramelization and drip into the drink. And so we'll pour 50 milliliter pouring over the top of the sugar cube. 150 milliliter, 250 milliliter. Might be a little bit more because we want to share the drink.
Yeah. 50 milliliter, 150 milliliter, whichever.
Yeah, it's hard to measure, but it's just based on friendship, and as we're going to share it, it's okay. We're going to want to light it up as well. And at this point, we're going to see a nice blue flame. The sugar is going to start to melt, drip into the absinthe below.
Yeah, it's actually burning from the inside down there, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll light the whole thing on fire. It'll caramelize. We'll go ahead and let it burn for just a little bit.
Sounds like a barbecue.
Good old classic American barbecue, right? But it's a drink. It's warming up nice. We're going to go ahead and light the whole drink on fire, even though part of it probably already is. Get the fire off of our spoon. And we'll put the fire out because we do want to keep the alcohol.
I see. See, I thought we were having a margarita today.
Yeah, one might think with that glass there, but no, we're just going to keep it with a nice drink. Absinthe is really designed to be drank diluted. So many people in America want to drink it straight, and that's just not the classic way to drink it. So we have some cool water. I have a friend who is an Alaskan Inuit, and he sent me some glacial water. So this has been cooled, and we want to pour this in here. We'll just do an equal 50-50 mix. Nice glacial water going in here, and we'll do a nice stir. And you know, Anthony, I don't know if you know this, but my first job was a dishwasher, so I like to make sure that they stay well employed. So instead of just drinking the drink out of the classic glass that we poured it into, I'm going to dirty 2 more glasses so that the local dishwasher people still have employment.
That's very
It's
kind.
helpful to everybody, right? I mean, why not?
Well, that's what we said. The classic pub is for the community.
Right, I agree. So this is the classic take on an absinthe.
Wow.
Tell me what you think.
Well, it's much sweeter than I expected.
The sugars, the caramelization.
Yeah, that is nothing like what I would have thought. Anise-y,
You got that right, yes. And
but sweet. Yeah.
but sweet.
Oh.
People who maybe don't understand anise, it's very similar to a licorice scent, a licorice flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, smooth, cool, refreshing.
I think as a child I drank a lot, or I ate a lot of the Good and Plenty's, the licorice covered in some coating. This just brings back memories.
How do you not like that?
It's a good drink.
So what else would you like to know about the pub?
Oh man, what sort of? Have you ever had something here that you thought was going to be a hit, nobody liked it?
That's a great question. My beers.
Really?
I mean, I really got into beer drinking because you got me into it. So I make beers. Did I say beer drinking or beer making? Because I got myself into beer drinking. But no, you got me into beer making, and it's been kind of finicky. I have produced some nice beers, but I've also made some beers that weren't very good. But friends are friends, right? They help you power through the bad ones, and they help you enjoy the good ones. So.
Yeah, well, it's good to have Guinness on tap for when you want something that's reliable.
Yep.
But when you want something adventurous, that's what friends are for.
Absolutely. I got to tell you a nice little story backdrop of when this bar was getting built. This stone is actually real stone. It's not
Facade.
a facade. Yeah. So we hired a guy who was just getting himself known into the area for working in stone. And this area, he went and gathered the stone from South Mighton area not too far from here, which you're familiar with, but maybe some of those friends listening to the interview might not know. Very beautiful sandstone. And he brought these boulders in here, and I was like, what are you doing? This is crazy. These are boulders. You can't put them on my wall. Well, he took all this time to hand chisel each one of these stones that you see up here from these massive boulders. But the price was so ridiculously low. I couldn't believe that this guy was actually doing this with real stone. He finished the project, and I thought I had some more stuff in mind for him, but he disappeared. We never found him again after I paid him, and he does such a fabulous job. He really could have made a name for himself out here, but one job and never saw or heard from him again in this area.
Really? How'd you find him to begin with?
He was taught by a good friend of ours who did stone work, Jerome, and he worked together with him, and he came with a nice recommendation. And as Jerome was a little older and he'd kind of wrapped up his career in stonework, he recommended this guy. And he, again, like I said, he did a fantastic job, but one and done. And I feel terrible because his work would have really been well appreciated in not just in our area, but anywhere in the state. It's a fantastic job.
Well, one other question before we wrap up. I know that every bar owner has something special that he's just waiting to open up at the right opportunity. What do you have?
I do have something very special, and I want to take it back to that dear friend Ed, whom the bar is named after. I have his wife made wine, and so some 20 years ago she made a batch of peach wine, and she gave me a bottle, and I have to show you. I might disappear for a second because it's tucked in a secret area that keeps it nice and safe. She reused these wine jugs, and for the friends, maybe we can do a little zoom, but this is from 1998, 22 years ago. And we joked back then when she gave it to me that we weren't going to open it for 5 years for a special occasion, waiting for that right moment. And then it just hid, and we forgot about it. And now it's been 22 years, so now the joke is maybe a 50-year opening. Truthfully, we don't even know if this is the type of wine that ages well. But the whole idea of such a dear friend who helped me build this bar, who helped me have an appreciation for a nice beverage, for life itself, and the fact that his wife made this is really important. And so far, nothing has been worthy enough for us to go ahead and open it, but maybe one day we'll find that right moment that this bottle will be opened.
Well, that is neat. Well, thank you so much, Orlando, for showing us around. We appreciate all that you do for us and letting us in and talk to you today.
Well, it's been my pleasure. You're welcome anytime.